On some level, all art is impermanent. Materials break down, paint chips away, canvases tear. But that's not usually on the forefront of the mind of your average artist. Nate Hodge is different. The process he takes in painting is one of embracing change, even if it means painting over what would seem like a complete painting. By combining styles and mediums, Nate Hodge builds cities, tears them down, and builds them again. Take a look and see for yourself as this artist lets us peek in on his process.
This body of work started in 2013 when I started working more objectively. A lot of the stuff that I'd been doing before was like post-impressionism, there was like some surrealism. All of it was kind of going in a bunch of different directions. I wound up, on a suggestion, just combining all of them together instead of doing like 6 or 7 different paintings into like one painting. And it wound up feeling like incredibly complicated and busy. And so from there, the idea was to move out onto a bigger surface and let the ideas just kind of expand. And that was how I started working more non-objectively, more abstract, and that was the seeds for this show here. The general theme I would think of, especially like this body of work, would be me having a conversation with all the different periods in art history that I enjoy. I wind up borrowing from them and then putting my own spin on them and how they like interact and dialogue with each other. A lot of my work winds up being a reflection on temporality or the continual changing nature of things that I see going on. If I start painting something with a vision, it winds up being something incredibly frustrating because I can never actually realize what I have in my head. So I get as close as I can, and then I walk away from it. And then I take those ideas, ways that it didn't work, or ways that it did work, and I put them into another piece. So it's almost like one continual painting that keeps happening over and over again, just on like different surfaces and in different environments. It can be kind of daunting walking up to like a surface and not having anything there, and you've got this big, huge like blank space staring at you. When I start with a piece, it's a continuous line drawing. I start with hieroglyphic letters, or when I start with like these weird like shapes, just like repetitive lines, it's breaking the ice with the surface. So I wind up treating a painting, the surface, as like a landscape. Every time that something happens, there's going to be a response to it within like an environment. So my paintings start out with an initial mark, and then the next washes or series of marks after that are responses to the initial disturbance. And if I can go across the whole entire space, then I've pretty much done a painting. And I could, at any point, like walk away from it. And after that, I've already painted the surface. So then it's just like adding edits to it. What winds up developing is almost like a system. And like winds up being like strata and like different layers to the painting, but each one has to happen for the one to happen on top of it. Any like painting that I start, I want to do better, or I want to push myself harder than the last one that I did before. I could just stop at certain areas along the way, and there's lots of spots where I'm thinking that it probably looks pretty good and I could walk away from it. But I want to go beyond that and push myself into areas where I'm uncomfortable, where I'm like forcing myself to really question, like, why did you just paint over that? All the layers are important because we're constantly changing. A painting should be almost constantly changing, or not just something that's like flat that you can walk away from. Oh, this is that. I like seeing decision making and spots where things didn't work out for a person and then that push them in like a different direction. I'm looking to have every piece that I walk away from be the one that's like, that's probably the best thing that I've done, you know, but knowing that there's room to improve on it for the next one. I'm looking to get better every single time.
For more on Nate Hodge and his artwork, check out his website at mazziori.com. You can also drive down to the corner of Atlantic Avenue and Crouch Street to see his wall therapy mural. You can't miss it.